Hello, everyone. Hello, Shawn. How are y'all doing today? Uh, yeah, how are y'all doing today? Technical foibles aside, those who are listening to the podcast will not have heard what happened. But how are you doing?
Hey guys, hey Chris, welcome, welcome. This podcast does not have a name, episode 23. And Chris, I see you named it We Are Not Here to Kill Chaos. What's that?
Just because Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise, I guess technically it's what called Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is coming out soon. They can't call it Final Fantasy Origin because there's already a game collection called that. So,
Yeah, that's
but
kind
yeah,
of bizarre. You're like competing with yourself for that name almost.
yeah, and I don't know if I'll be buying the game right away because I don't like the main pro tag. I do that first showing, that trailer of him just screaming chaos, pretty much 50% of the trailer, does not turn me on to want to play that game.
What does
So,
what does turn you on?
not that game. It needs more anime ooh woo in there to make
I
me like
see, I
it.
see. Nice. But
What would really turn me on if they allowed the guys who are doing all the pixel remasters, not pixel remasters, but all the 2D, 3D video games. I wish that they were allowed to make Chrono Trigger.
yeah, remember that fan remake of Chrono Trigger that got canned right before the first beta was gonna go out?
Yeah, I remember that. But you did hear that like Square Enix is like forbade them from touching Chrono Trigger. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know there wasn't much
unfortunately.
news, but like wow, really guys? Uh it stinks. And then yeah, they're shutting down fan remakes. I mean, I understand, but it still sucks. Don't talk about your shit till it's finished, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
When it's finished, then you throw it out in the wild and say, well, it's out there. Anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. People can never resist. They're like, we
We
have
have
to
to
get
talk about
praise
it
for our
now.
work
Yeah.
now, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You gotta do what the guys who did Pokemon Uranium did. Just send it out there.
That was a nice surprise, and what's Nintendo going to do about it at this point, right?
Nothing.
Take it down, sure, but
Yeah,
then the damage is already done. They
you
can't
know,
really do much about
once
that.
you make sure you throw it up on as many of the ROM sites and stuff, because you can, or whatever sites you can, just throw it up there as quickly as you can, and then when they shut you down, go, it's out in the wild now.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to this week, Sean?
Oh, we're actually starting with me for once. That's not how we do things
I
around here,
mean,
Chris.
I could go first if you want,
I'm
but
kidding.
I thought I'd give you the shot this week and go
Wow,
first.
it only took 23 episodes, half
Well,
a year, Chris.
because we usually go, because we kind of went off the rails in terms of our intro, and you usually do the real intro and then you lead into me. But since we kind of started to do a quick rant, I thought I'd lead into you this time.
What have I been up to? Not too much. I've been streaming every day for a while. I want to go for a couple things. First of all, I have been neglecting my stream back in October, November, so I'm kind of making up for that. As well as I'm making kind of a big push again into my streaming career, if you want to call it that. I kind of want to, push my numbers up a bit, so I'm putting a lot more work into it. As well as there's an achievement on Twitch to stream for 25 days in the month. So I'm after that too. I might as well get that achievement, right? Might as well. You know me, I'm an achievement hunter. I might as well get it,
I
and
mean,
then
I
I don't have
wouldn't
to
put
worry about it.
hunter as the phrase, but
What would you use, Chris?
whore.
Choose your. I was gonna say, choose your next words carefully. You're not wrong though. You're not wrong. That's the thing.
Mm,
Life has been treating pretty good. I can't complain. I have my health. I have a good job at least until this time next month. Then I have to look for another job because my contract will be done.
mm.
Yeah, I got my PC up and running. I'm using that for streaming now, and I'm using that for the podcast even. So really good change. I'm actually on a tower, not on a small laptop anymore. What else? Been playing some Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster, Chris. I know you've played the game, and it's like a what 25-year-old game at this point, so I don't really feel bad for any spoilers. But yeah, the Pixel Remaster is so good. I'm in the I only have 3 characters left to recruit in the second half
in
of the game.
in second half, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Mog, Umaro, and Gogo.
correct.
Oh, okay. I was
Correct.
pretty sure that that would be it, 'cause that's usually the ones I pick up last as well.
Yeah,
Not because of any real reason, just the other characters are more important. So,
pretty much. Yeah. Um, it's I don't know how you feel about it, Chris, but as a kid playing Final Fantasy VI, I remember, man, this is such a huge game. It took me so long to beat, and now the Pixar Master, I'm like, man, this is actually a really short game by today's standards. And for me, it's like I remember it being a lot longer, but now it's like I see it for its true size. It's not
yeah,
that long, actually.
it
That's what she said. But like, it's not actually as long as I remember as a kid. I guess it's just that the memories are kind of being altered,
it
It's not.
it
Go ahead.
could be that, but if you were to compare Final Fantasy 6 to, we'll say, Final Fantasy 15, the Final Fantasy 6 in comparison is crammed full of so much story, lore, and characters compared to 15's lackluster but more open world setting that uh, to me Final Fantasy 6 is way, way, way better. And compared to it, even though you go through it a lot, there's so much crammed in there. Like I went through, I think maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I'm at Lake Lati, the Latai River or whatever it is, right before you split off for the first time. And I'm like, this used to take me forever to get to this point. I remember like having to grind in the desert to try and get enough money to earn coin, and now I just walked there and I've got enough to buy everything I need. So I'm like, what was going on? Why was it so hard before when I was younger? But there's so much story. It's been nonstop story when you go through that game until you get
Yep.
to certain points of the game. Like basically when you get your airship, it's nonstop story, right? And then this
It's
airship
so
kind of slows you down just a little bit if you know where to go.
it's so good. The music, oh my God. I've played through most of the game at this point. I want to say I'm about 75% of the way through, actually that's about right. About 75% of the way,
Mm,
give or take. But man, it's so good. I I'm so happy that they took their time. I think we talked about the opera last week, so I won't talk
yeah,
about that again. So yeah, I'll probably have the game 100%ed, or at least very close to it this time next week. I hope so, because actually, Final Fantasy Origins Stranger of Paradise is supposed to come out on the 18th. It comes out early access for PCs 1 day early, but early access for consoles is 3 days early. So in actuality, it
wow.
comes out on the 15th, and I'll be purchasing it on my console. And when we're recording this, it's actually the 9th. It's the evening of the 9th. So we have less than a week to go until it comes out. And here's the shitty part. I looked into it. So you know me, Chris, and I know you feel the same way. I don't know, maybe your opinion has changed over the years since the last time I talked to you about this, but I prefer the physical version of games. I always have, I always will. There is the convenience of digital games where you don't have to own the collection with you. If you move, you don't have to worry about carrying it or losing it. So there is pros and cons to both, but I've always preferred physical. The physical version of this game is not applicable for the early access, number one. Number two, there's only the standard edition,
Mm,
and the deluxe edition is only the digital version. And that is actually worth getting because it's $40 more, but it comes with a lot of bonus items. Plus, it comes with the season pass. And you know that season pass is going to cost at least $40, right?
it
So
probably will.
so you're actually better off buying the digital deluxe, but I don't want to get the digital
Well,
deluxe. I want to get the physical, but then I'm losing out on everything plus the early access. So
I a lot of games this latest generation, like on Switch, I've noticed it as well. And if I own the new consoles, definitely. Uh, Probably even starting with PS3. Uh, Buying the physical isn't the complete version of the game. There's usually tons of day one DLC, which means as soon as I buy a game, even if I'm not playing it, I should plug it in and keep it updated. Otherwise, there could be game breaking bugs in my games, which is garbage. I shouldn't have to fill up my hard drives full of all these updates. Like, why am I getting an echo from you?
do you have my stream open? Maybe.
I got you muted. I just noticed there was like some. That's weird. Sorry. It's only when I
No
speak
worries.
at a certain level I hear myself. Anyway, I will try to figure that out because I'll let you continue. I don't remember where my thought was going anymore. Sorry about that. Please.
Um, what are we talking about again? The oh yeah, the Final Fantasy Strangers, what's it called? Stranger of Paradise, I believe. We were talking about the digital. Chris, you were saying something about
Hmm. Yeah.
having to keep your console up to date.
Yeah, like it's really dumb that, they were talking about what, shutting down the was it the PS3 or the PS4 stores? PS3 stores. And that would mean I have to go through all my PS3 games and make sure that they're all updated or there's no game breaking bugs before I could play them. I mean, hell, if they're digital, I gotta do that anyway. But if it's a physical game, I want to buy the game and just let it be there until I feel like playing the game. At least with classic games, buying the physical copy means it's just gonna be there. There's no like 20 gig patch to update my Cyberpunk that is only
Yeah,
digital. Like,
yeah, I probably will buy Strangers of Paradise the digital deluxe because again, that's the only way to get the early access, the only way to get the deluxe version. So I would prefer owning it physically, but if I'm losing out on all that content plus the free DLC, essentially, is what it is. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna buy that better version, of course. But I don't like the fact that I'm kind of forced into buying the digital version when I prefer physical. But anyways, what else have I been up to? Not very much, honestly. Just been doing some behind the scenes work in my stream. As I said, I've been streaming every day for a bit now. I'm trying to. I'll see if I can stream every day this month. If I'm probably gonna miss Saturday. Oh, that's something. Saturday, I got one of my friends. He's also a mod on my channel. He's doing an get together with a bunch of people. So in Canada, there's a sport called curling. I don't watch it, to be honest. I don't have any interest in sports, let alone curling. But we'll be playing that for a couple hours, and then after the fact, we'll be having some food and drink together. So yeah, it's 'cause there's supposed to be like a gathering of a bunch of us. So yeah, that'll be pretty fun. I haven't been out of the house in a while because I work from home now. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. That's about it, honestly. Can't really think of anything else I've been up to. How about you, Chris? Oh, sorry. One
mm,
thing I did do actually was play Hollow Knight. I got the 5 hour achievement for being the game in 5 hours. So that was like the 5 hour speedrun achievement.
oh,
And
jeez.
now, yeah, now I think that's about it. I only have to do one more achievement in Hollow Knight. That's the toughest one, the Pantheon 5, and just basically every single boss in the game one after another.
No,
And
boss rush.
if you die, you're dead. You have to start again, and the whole thing can take like up to an hour.
Hmm.
And as you know, Hollow Knight is considered to be one of the harder games. It's kind of like Dark Souls difficulty. So
So that version of it, is it another mode on the game? Like, do you start? Is it something you do during your end game quests of the game, or is it another option to choose on the main menu where it gives you all the upgrades? How's that work?
no, um, I think you can do what you said. There's like a God Seeker mode, but no, what I'm after is this is something you do in your main save game. It's
Hmm.
optional. You don't have to do it. It's actually DLC that they added onto the game. So the Hollow Knight edition I have is called the God Seeker edition, I believe. I think that's what it's called. And it comes with all four of the free DLC that they released over the years, and this is one of them. Essentially, it's the last DLC, so therefore they put in all the bosses from the original game plus the DLC plus like 3 or 4 original bosses to this mode
Hmm.
that you have no idea how to fight. And that's what happened to me. The first time I like it's not random. The bosses are in the same order every time.
Yeah.
So when I came to like boss, I'm just making the number up, like 21 out of like 42. I'm like, oh, this is one of those new bosses. And it killed me. I wasted like half an hour. I'm like, well, at least I know how to fight the boss now.
Yeah.
So it's basically Dark Souls. You have to kind of like bang your head against the wall until you get good. And every time you die too, like your soul instead of your bloodstain in Dark Souls, your soul like hovers near where you died, and you have to kill it to get all your soul and your money back.
Yeah.
So same concept as Dark Souls. I was told by some people that the two communities are actually surprisingly intertwined, the Dark Souls and the Hollow Knight community. So that was
Yeah.
news to me when I heard
The
it.
mm, Probably because of how I guess hardcore the kind of game is, or how tough it is. Like, there's not nowadays not too many games that are like Dark Souls that just punish you and they expect you to quote get good. you know.
Yeah.
So the Hollow Knight being a Metroidvania, but also in some ways being very tough, or at least in some aspects, yeah, I could see that. People who want challenges will go over there when they hear about it.
So now I'm done. So now you can go. What have you been up to,
What
Chris?
have I been up to? Uh, I think I talked about Fist North Star last week. So this week I finished off Super Sentai Hurricane Ranger. I finished off that
What's
whole
that?
season. Sorry?
Which one is that?
Hurricane Ranger. It's what would be Ninja Storm or Ninja Steel
Thank you. Yeah,
here.
that was going to be my question, like the English equivalent.
Yeah, it would be, I believe, Ninja Storm. But it ended off, I would say, actually pretty good. All things considered, with how the series went. What didn't go over well was the YouTube channel, I believe it is, for the Power Ranger official was doing a marathon of Ninja Steel or Ninja Storm, and I watched some of that and went, "Wow, is this ever different? Holy crap, this looks like crap." Like I was not turned off by it so hard. The main villain in the Japanese version is this giant centipede ninja monster, basically. And in the American one, it's just some dude in what I want to say a suit, but he looks not like normal clothes, but he doesn't look very unique, and looks like he has a demonic luchador mask on. And I'm
What?
like, and his absurdity, like the Japanese villain is he doesn't move around too much because it's a big suit, and but he's very much like in the background controlling everything, like very, I guess, dark and mysterious. In the English version, at least from the episodes I've seen of the villain, he's Shredder at the end of the original 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series comic of the level of comedic villainry. Like almost like what take what the American Lord Zed, what Lord Zed started off as, to what he was at the end of the series.
Oh my God. So they took a dark and scary, respectable villain and turned him into a comic relief character just because parents complained that that character was too
Like
scary.
that's what this villain feels like. That they went because yes, I know Power Rangers is for children, but
Blasphemy.
when you compare it to the Japanese version, it feels really off. I do like the people I've seen playing the American Power Rangers in that season. I only get to see them for a little bit, but I think that they were pretty good. But the villains, some of them were kind of and some were not because they actually they try to get a lot of the original suits over from Japan, and then recreate them with American either voice actors if it's the original clips or the people in the suits, right? But sometimes they can't do that all the time. But them changing that villain out just so they had to redo all the scenes in the villain's lair or recreate that, and it doesn't have the same effect as the original villain. So I wonder how much of the plot actually changed because of that. And in the American version compared to the Japanese, in the Japanese, their mech got tons of upgrades in different various forms. Some of those forms were changed in this version, not from the mech, but that the Red Ranger got power ups. So there's a hawk. Oh, I don't remember what kind. It's like a hawk or a red kind of phoenix or hawk mech that they get for an upgrade. It actually comes apart and becomes part of Red Ranger's armor. So he gets these big red wings. And he gets like this Buster Cannon, or was it a sword or something? Like
Good.
this is in the American version. Like what? Holy crap! Like the Red Ranger gets actual power ups. Like that's
So
cool, but it's different.
so the Zords well, at least one of them detach and form and like on him, like
Kind of
around
like
him
that. Like
essentially.
like
Oh my God, that's
the
so
little
fucking amazing.
so the little upgrades are these gadget balls that they shoot from their chest and become weapons or upgrades. And one of the upgrades is a merger of two or three of the Max's gadget balls together. And I believe that gives Red Ranger like powered up armor. Like that's way different, but I kind of actually like it. I kind of wish this was in the Japanese version, or that every Power Ranger got their own little upgrade. Maybe they do, but I've never seen it. I doubt it because it's the Red Ranger, so and he gets special upgrades, so but that's kind of cool. That's one thing I actually liked.
The Red Ranger always gets the perks, right?
He does. He gets Green Ranger's armor. He gets powered
Yep.
up armor. He
Yep.
gets to control the Dragon Zord after.
Dun, 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 dun,
But
dun.
yeah,
Oh,
there's. Oh,
I
go on.
found my Power Ranger morpher the other day.
Your original Morpher.
Yeah.
Yeah, which character was it? Red, green?
It has all 5 power coins. I
Oh,
think
okay.
6 maybe.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
it's got you could just change out the power coin. That's cool. You'll have to show that off on your either on stream or on you drop it in Discord pictures of it to say, "Holy
I
crap!
mean,
Look what I found."
keep talking and I can show you off right now.
But yeah, it is very weird. I watched one episode in the marathon for the American Power Rangers, Ninja Storm, and it was actually a cool concept of like the Pink Rangers getting like basically she was surfing and she got knocked unconscious and ended up in an alternate dimension or dream dimension where the bad guys ruled the earth and they're actually nice guys. And the Power Rangers went on a villainous rampage throughout the city, and they were scared of them and didn't know how to deal with the evil Power Rangers. But she wasn't part of the team because she had like lost her memory, I guess, in that universe. And I get one of the cool things I thought in that one was that as she was telling the bad guys how to defeat the Power Rangers in that universe, she had this weird look on her face as she watched her friends get defeated by what was considered in her universe evil monsters. But she was also happy that the evil versions of her friends were getting defeated. So there was like this weird look on her face, like, oh no, they're getting defeated. And then afterwards going, yes, they got defeated. I'm like, it's very weird look, but it's what she would I believe is what the looks that she would actually have in her face, right? So I think I would give her props in that episode for making me kind of believe the emotion going through her.
Do you
And I
believe
thought it
it's
was
one of those
sorry.
sorry, would you believe it's one of those snooze things? Death by snooze. And then they have like the look of horror and then the look of pleasure, then horror and
It
pleasure, and it goes back and forth.
definitely not as jarring as that, but it was kind of like a very vague little changes that I seen, and I don't know if it was meant to be that or me hoping that that's what they were going for. So it's it was the one episode of the two or three that I watched that made me actually like that season, and I don't know about the others because I was half in and half out watching them. So but it's very weird watching the American villain, the main one, be almost like Bulk in Skull.
Oh, really?
Like
Oh,
almost that bad, but maybe I
bad.
watched some bad episode. Well, yes, but Bulk and Skull are comic relief. The villains shouldn't be comic relief unless if it's the one villain from that season who is comic relief. There's a jester like villain in that season who's supposed to be the comic relief, and he's constantly laughing and giggling and setting pranks even on his own teammates to the point that they don't like him sometimes. And I don't think he's comic relief in this. Everyone seems like comic relief for the villains, and that sucks in the American version. So
I
I don't.
thought you I thought you were calling Balkan Skull bad,
Oh no,
but
no. It's
really,
just compared to like villains shouldn't really be like that unless if they're meant to be like that. You don't want a whole team of comic relief villains.
right.
So I hope I just got a bad view of all the episodes. Maybe I just saw the couple that are considered bad. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I watched that and actually I looked up for the next season. I don't remember what the next one is, but Tubi does not seem to have the next season in the Japanese version. So I don't know
Oh,
where I'm going to find it. They have like one or two more seasons I haven't watched, which I think happened before Zero to Danger, which would be Mighty Morphin. So maybe I'll just go back and watch those if I can't track down the next Japanese seasons. Maybe there's a way I could watch them if oh, what's it called? Uh, Shoutcast if they have it somewhere. I think they're the ones that do uh who release those seasons here in North America for Japanese. That is Toku Shoutsu or something. I'll have to look it up, but I want to
okay.
see the next season because I know I should. I want to say I'm getting closer and closer to Pirates or Samurai, which
God,
is the one I really want to see. Is Samurai.
I
I've
thought
been
I thought there's a Power Ranger Pirates you're talking
there
about.
is.
Oh
I believe
God.
it happened. I believe it happened before Samurai.
Oh God.
But yeah, I want to get closer and closer to like those two seasons as we get, because those are more modern and things are getting a little bit better in terms of like storyline. Well, here and
Yeah.
there for storyline. So it depends on who's writing and what mood they want to go with. But that's pretty much it been for me. I've also been waiting this next week in much anticipation for my from all my toys to show up. They're
Oh, toys. Which
upgrade.
ones?
Oh, lots of Dragon Ball toys and one not Dragon Ball toy. I will talk about them when they come in. But the
Okay.
last updated in Toronto on the 6th. So I'm like, where are my toys? I want them
They're
now.
saying I can get them. I can seal the shipment.
No, they're probably already on the way here. They just haven't
Damn it.
arrived here yet. So, but it sucks having to wait this long for my toys. They've only been shipped out for a week and a half. Why aren't they in my hands yet? Nah, but yeah, new toys showing up at some point. So that's pretty much been it, other than usual everyday stuff. Oh, I've been playing RE4. I've gotten past the point in which, where I left off last time, which was I don't think I ever made it to the castle. And so I finally made it to the castle, and then promptly upon entering castle, uh, what's her name? Cheryl got kidnapped again. So I'm like,
Leon,
well,
help!
yeah, Leon, where are you going, Leon? But yeah,
Leon!
she is lost in the castle, so I have to go find her. But it is a really good game, really, really awesome. I can see, obviously playing that, you can see why they went in that direction for the series, but I don't know what I think of like in RE5 and 6.
Did you find out how to suplex with Leon?
No, I need to look it up. I really need to before I stream the game next, because I
You
want
should.
to. I'm assuming I have to stun them, then run around behind them, but I don't know for sure, because I'm sure I've been behind them at times, but I know it can happen. So,
Um, something. Oh, sorry. Are you finished? I forgot.
yes, I'm actually done. I believe so.
Okay. Something I forgot was I bought that screen I showed you, Chris. So now I
Oh,
have two screens. The one in front of me is the new one, and it's really nice because it's adjustable in every way you can imagine. Like you can tilt it this way,
yeah,
this way. It goes up and down. It rotates. So yeah, it's really good. I think it's 100. It's either 144 or 160 megahertz refresh rate.
yeah, it's good.
27 inch. Or is it 24? I forget. I think it's 27. I'll have to
And
double check. But yeah, it has a lot of gaming modes like for the colors and the presets. Yeah, I can't complain too much. So I have my secondary one here. Now the problem is I know you can't see this if you're only listening to the podcast. When I'm playing my console games, this is how my stream is. And I don't like this camera angle like this. So I'll have to find out some way
you can move your
where I could put
camera.
this. I could, but then I don't want this kind of
Right.
behind
I
me,
forgot about that. So,
Yeah.
if anything, you'll get like a green screen or something behind you for that. Maybe not screen
I
screen, but some kind of screen, or you'll have to figure something else out. Yeah, I can see your issue. You don't want to show off
or
behind you.
so the stupid thing about this monitor is that it only comes with so what's I this is the first time I'm using the new connection, Chris. It's not HDMI, it's a step above that. What's it called again?
Oh, DVI.
Is it called DVI? Okay, I don't remember, but I'm actually gonna look up my purchase on Amazon just to kind of refresh my memory. I should have done this beforehand,
Yeah,
but I
I
forgot about
believe
this.
you need that to be able to do the higher refresh and definitely higher resolution rates, I believe.
See, I didn't know that. Like I'm using it now anyways, but I did not actually know that.
I think that's what it's for, because I think HDMI can only do so much, and if you want at least higher refresh, I believe that DVI will provide that. I could be wrong
So
though, so
no, I'm not using DVI. It has an audio in, a DVI, one HDMI, and one display port. and one earphone jack. I'm using the display
Oh, you're
port.
using the one step down.
Oh, is it one step down? I thought
Yes.
display port was
Oh no,
better than
or am I
HDMI.
wrong?
See, that's what I'm saying. This is the first time I'm
I
using
have to.
display
We'll
port.
have to look at it.
Okay. I'm actually gonna Google it right now. This
Because I thought DisplayPort was the old versions. Like I don't remember. I could be I could be wrong, but I know that there's a step above HDMI.
it says here if you have to choose between DisplayPort 1.4 and HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort would be the better option. But
Okay, yeah. I probably got it wrong. DVI might be the older one. I'm just not thinking right. But yeah, either way, there's your monitor should definitely support it. You said you have it hooked up, so
yeah, but my DisplayPort is 1.2, my HDMI is 1.4, so it's not as current as I thought it was. I can
mhm.
still return this. It's still within 30 days, but I'm not sure. I'll have to do some testing.
But
I'm not really sure how I should be testing it out with my games exactly because I've never had a monitor this good before. So, you
if
know,
well, don't you really just need to other than colors, yada yada, don't you just need a game that you can pump up to 160 frames and the high resolution and make sure it's doing both at the same time?
here we go. Um,
Mm,
for 144 megahertz on 1440p, mine isn't. Mine's only 1080. You'll need at least HDMI 2.0, which I don't have. I have HDMI 1.4 or DisplayPort 1.2, which is what I have. So I'm assuming my DisplayPort 1.2 is better than HDMI 1.4. So I'm pretty sure I'm correct.
yeah.
So yeah, this new monitor comes. I'll ignore the audio and earphone jack. It comes only with one DVI-D,
Mm,
one HDMI, and one DisplayPort.
yeah.
So kind of lacking, but I
I
should
mean,
need more of that.
you shouldn't. You shouldn't be. Those are only different options. I don't see any reason why you need to plug in all or anything like
Well,
that. So
this monitor here has two HDMI and something else I forget.
what the
So
hell?
like yeah, like I always use both HDMIs on this monitor here. Like
Oh,
whether it's whether it's my consoles, two consoles, if I need a second screen for my laptop, which I do for work at times, that sort of thing. So it
I
is handy
see.
for that. So
I
yeah, I'm
see.
still, you know what I could do is actually hook up my consoles up to this one using the HDMI. I don't need the PC running through the display port.
Should be able to do
I
that.
could do that, yeah. Because this is only 1080, it's not 1440, so I don't need the best connection probably. It still probably would handle 144 refresh rate, I'm guessing.
As long as the console does it, yeah.
Well, I have a Series X that'll do it. The Switch won't do it,
No, the
of
Switch in
course.
that is 1080 at best. At
That's being
hopefully
upscaled.
60 frames per second, but don't guarantee it
Yeah.
for certain games.
I would like to use my Elgato one of these days on my Switch just to see if it works correctly.
Yeah, you'll have
Because
to
remember,
test that out when with all your new setup and that. Make sure it works again.
my old setup running on the laptop. I used my Elgato to stream from my Series, well, from my Series X to the laptop, and
Mhm.
it was on the dot. Every 2 minutes, the Elgato would stop working,
Yeah,
and I'd have to either unplug it or close OBS and restart it for it to work, and then it
yeah,
would crash after 2 minutes. Not OBS, just the source, just the Elgato. The Elgato itself would still be working,
yeah,
but but the Elgato display on the OBS would not work. So I have no idea.
yeah. You'll have to,
Hopefully, there's some sort of compatibility thing with my laptop.
yeah,
But
you'll
go
have
ahead.
to, you'll have to test. Jeez, my throat. You'll have to test it out. Make sure that it all works well this time.
Yeah,
Just do quick tests off stream and quick record to make sure, or off stream record and that, make sure things are well. But it should hopefully work. Fingers crossed, because
yeah.
it's weird.
Hopefully,
But yeah, I guess with that, unless we have anything else, we can move into some newsy news.
yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna open things up.
I
So this,
so as you do that, I could start with a quick one that isn't on the news docket. Not blah, blah, docket. So I don't remember his name, but the guy who makes you've heard of oh what manga was that? Crap. It's not called crap. Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter. So he's had some health issues. Has had to delay his manga for a while. The anime, there's two of them because they made the anime originally. He got caught up to the manga, went on hiatus, and then the hiatus was so long they decided just to reboot the anime again. So they redid it all again. But yeah, he has made a comment on Twitter in that stating that he wants the woman who makes Sailor Moon to continue his manga.
Oh
I
wow.
do believe that she is also his wife.
Oh wow. Yeah, I heard the creator Sailor Moon is married to another manga artist. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, like wow. So I guess maybe he's not confident in his health issues. I mean, he'd know better than us, and whether or not it's still in hiatus or to just try to get it out there. I do believe he's also stated that he has bits of his story written down as to where he wants certain things to go already. So if something was to happen, I think it could possibly be continued by someone. But yeah, he's been trying to convince either his wife or the company to let his wife continue the manga in his stead.
I think his wife has been retired for a while now, hasn't she?
I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure. I know I saw a picture of her said and thought, wow, so that's why all the Sailor Moon characters have such long legs.
Wait, what?
She's very a lot of the characters in Sailor Moon they're very quite tall and skinny, but they have like really long legs. Like their legs make up half their body. If you see a picture of her, she's got long legs.
Oh really? Huh.
Yeah, at least the pictures I've seen, I'm like, well, that explains that. So, but yeah, she kind of wants to get her to continue, and if anything, like they'll be there together, so he can like direct her if things don't seem to be going the way he wants, right? In the manga, but I think he's confident that she could do it. So
Well,
yeah,
she is a good manga artist, so I
she
mean,
is. I
what
know the art. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, what better choice than your own wife and someone who's world famous at doing what she does, right?
Yeah, no, I know the art is different, but I would assume they would not change the art by that much. Well, I believe he was still doing the art, but I could be wrong. I don't remember everything's gone over with this manga, but it was it was just like a lot of other mangas artists. Lots of hiatus and health issues have been cropping up here and there. So you know how it goes. Hopefully his doesn't end on a sour note and we don't get the conclusion of what he wants to create, as which happens with certain manga artists.
Yeah, well, you told us that unlike who was it, Kantaro or whoever made Berserk, I
Kitara
forget his,
Muria, yeah,
that's him. He was actually making notes in case that anything happened to
I
him.
do believe
So,
so. He was so.
and the fact that it's his own wife, I'm sure they've talked about their own series as they were making them, you know,
You
in
think
private.
you'd think
You would
so,
think so.
but yeah,
So,
just a quick little thing there that I've seen. I haven't heard a response from her or from the manga company, yada yada. So I don't know if I ever will, but who knows? Yeah.
oh, I guess if we're done with that, Chris, we'll
Yep.
move on to there is a lot of stuff that just got dropped on us today, actually. I think the biggest piece of news today that got dropped was the trailer, Chris, for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus. Have you seen it?
Yes, I watched it before we started.
Oh my God,
Is
it
it?
looks so good.
Am I
And Duel
wrong?
of the Fates music. Go ahead.
Uh, am I wrong that because it is CG or a person who's doing a really good version of what's his name? Ewan McGregor. I believe he's in it. So same with Hayden Christensen. Or am I
Correct.
wrong? I
No,
believe
you're
I
right
read that.
because the YouTube video title has their two names
Okay,
in
yeah,
it,
I
Ewan
wanted to make
McGregor and
sure
Hayden
that
Christensen.
so because it also looked like that there was a young like Obi-Wan in there. I'm like it like looked young, like as if he would it was very quickly, either just before or just after episode one. Like, did they CG him younger or? Because I wasn't too sure. It looked a little off, so it might have been someone else, but it also doesn't look terrible. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I I don't know about that too much, but I know for a fact that those two actors were on the set, so they're not using like what they did for Princess Leia or oh shit, what's his name? The famous movie horror
Tark,
one.
Grand
What's his name?
Master Tark, Tarf.
Yeah, but what's his real name?
Oh, crap, I don't remember.
Well,
He was in all the
that
old Hammer horror movies,
yes,
and I just don't remember his name. Sorry,
it'll come back to us. It'll come back to us.
it probably
But
will.
yeah, but man, that trailer looks so good. Duel of the Fates music, the fact that Darth Vader's going to be in it,
I
obviously, and
mean,
it looks like, uh, it looks like that Obi-Wan's being hunted. It looks like from what I saw in the
um,
trailer, Chris. That's the impression I got.
yes, the Jedi are being hunted. They must be exterminated. They are
Well,
filth of the universe.
I mean, I meant Obi-Wan
Oh
specifically
yeah,
was being hunted.
I know. Like they're gonna focus on Obi-Wan, but like Duel of the Fates, like the best thing to come out of those three movies.
Oh,
Of
come on.
course,
Episode 3 was a good movie. You can't tell me episode 3 is bad with
episode
all the
three
lightsaber
was
fights.
bad.
Oh, I
The only
disagree.
thing
I
I liked out
disagree.
of episode three was unlimited power.
Oh, come on. You're telling me you didn't enjoy watching the Emperor with his lightsaber
I mean,
fights? Come on.
I did
Come on. I don't believe that.
enjoy the slaughtering of many children. I did enjoy all the Jedi being exterminated. Down with the Jedi. Long live the Empire.
I still think that's the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. That's
Oh,
my opinion. I love episode 3. Everyone for some reason everyone hates the prequels, but they love the sequels. And I hate the sequels. I don't think they're good movies.
the sequels like
I don't.
4, 5, 6,
No, like 7,
7,
8,
8,
9.
9. Oh, those people are wrong. Those people are really wrong. No, I like 4, 5, 6,
Hey,
and then 1, 2, 3, then 8, 7, 8, 9. Because
episode 1, you can't tell me you didn't enjoy the lightsaber fights with Darth Maul, Chris. I don't believe you if you said you didn't enjoy that part of the movie.
look,
No.
it's I can't say that I don't enjoy the fights because fights are fights and they're cool. But when it comes to certain things that happen in those movies, like half the movie being pod racing, or the Jedi Council saying Anakin's too old when he's like a couple years older than the other kids in the class. I'm like, the hell's wrong with you people? And just everything else, like when it comes to story, midichlorians in episode one, like that's garbage. Like ruin, like putting science into Star Wars to explain why the Force exists. That should never happen. Just like S cells in fucking Dragon Ball, that shouldn't happen. Fuck you, Akira Toriyama, for trying to ruin
Legit,
Dragon Ball.
I legit forgot about that until now.
Yeah, I
Thank you, Chris,
haven't.
for ruining that for me again.
But
I
yeah,
put the, I legit put that out of my memory. I'm not even kidding. This is not a joke. I'm being 100% serious. I legit put that out of my memory, and you put it right back in, Chris. I hate you.
but yeah, like like there's lots of things in those three episodes I do not like. I like the overarching story they're trying to tell, but lots of issues with each of those movies. Now, yes, episode one, two, and three. The second one's the worst one.
Hey, look, I'm not defending episode 1 or 2 here.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Of
I'm
course.
defending episode 3. Episode 3 specifically, it was like literally half the movie's lightsaber fights.
Yeah,
Half the
but
freaking movie
with
is lightsaber fights. So
with everything, but I kind of because they want it to be the trilogy of the story, so I'm like I kind of tie in the other two, but they are what they are, so I'll leave them where they are. I'm not a big fan of them compared to like 4, 5, 6, that story, and 7, 8, 9. That's a trash fire. Just throw it out, redo them all. Just throw those out. Lucas and everyone, they can have a heyday and refix those in 10, 20 years with CG and virtual reality and whatever other garbage and try and fix that shit because those movies are bad. Anyway,
anyways, we're talking about Obi-Wan series
yeah,
here.
it looks cool. I like the Inquisitors and stuff like that they're showing off. The
Yeah.
what's his name there? Because I don't think that was Vader, but the big guy who's bald with the tattoos in his head. Maybe that was because he wasn't all burnt up and he wasn't he wasn't hurt or anything, but he was quite tall, but he was very pale. He had these blue tattoos in his head, and he was bald. They showed him very briefly. I had to pause to make sure it was Vader or not.
See, I never paused, so I don't actually know who you're
I
talking
I, I
about.
watched it a couple times because I wanted to see all the
Oh
cool
yeah,
new
I watched it 3 times, but I didn't actually pause. But I saw the Inquisitors, which is actually interesting that they're bringing them to the mainstream Star Wars series because the Inquisitors, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, started in the comic books and then they came to the games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Mhm.
That was a major part of the game. Was there's a
I
lot of boss fights against the Inquisitors, and now they're coming to actually like the main
yeah.
series on Disney
I
Plus.
I think you might have seen some versions of them in some of the movies, but I don't think they were ever named or mentioned or anything like that. I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time, at least in movies slash in real life form. I believe this is the first time we're being shown them in a big capacity. Like there might have been some in like maybe episode three, but not really because they're more Jedi hunters, if anything, right? So
They didn't exist until after the Emperor took power, so it wouldn't have been episode 3.
right, yeah. Episode three would have
They're
been like immediately kill Jedi. Yeah, I
they're not considered Sith. They're considered just users of the dark side of the Force, if that makes sense.
yeah. They are
So,
people who've been corrupted by the Force, and yeah,
well, not corrupted because they work for the Sith, but they don't consider themselves Sith, and the Sith don't see them as Sith. They see them as just like, again, users of the Force trained in the dark side. I know it sounds like a Sith. Don't ask me. I'm not a Star
uh,
Wars expert,
it
but
makes me
having played Jedi Fallen Order, that's basically what they said in that
yeah,
game.
it makes me think that like the Jedi were trying to recruit just have basically have an army of Jedi, but the Sith are like there's one master, one apprentice, or whatever, right? And or there's a couple Sith masters, whatever, however it is, and all the others that are trained are not considered that because they don't want to train them in all the arts because of well, we've heard of all the backstabbing and crap that happens with the Jedi, with the Sith masters already. Imagine if you had an army of them.
Yep.
Like that's basically what it sounds like to me, like that they train them to a certain point so that they can be used and controlled easily through the masters, and that they won't have enough power to be able to rebel against the masters. That it's a more a show of force, not show of force. I guess show of force, but not give them too much force slash power in their own right. Is that a good way to put it? Probably not, but I think I kind of said what I wanted to say. But yeah, it looks cool. Uh, and you don't see Vader, but you hear Vader at the end of the trailer, of course.
I think you do see him, don't you?
I don't recall seeing him,
I'm I'm pretty sure we do,
but
but
and
I'll double check.
but yeah, it's looks like it'll be good. I did watch and go, why do we need a Obi-Wan TV series? But okay,
Well, we knew about this for a few years actually, about the series existing. I mean,
yeah,
why do we need one? I see what you're saying. It's like, well, we know what's going to happen to him. He's just going to be on Tatooine the whole time. But I don't know. It seems like the whole thing, as I said before, was him being hunted down, like
yeah,
specifically, not like kill all the Jedi. Like, hey, let's fucking track and find Obi-Wan, which makes sense because this is going to be right after the Emperor took control of the universe, and Darth Vader's his second, essentially the second in command of the Empire,
mm,
and he wants to find Obi-Wan for revenge,
yeah.
essentially.
Like I understand why, but it's just like,
Because yeah, I'm oh this guy, I see the guy you're talking about now.
yeah, yeah,
I I see the part, and he just said, "Where is he?" So they are specifically trying to hunt Obi-Wan. They
yeah.
has because who else could he be talking about?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand. It's just, kind of like alongside that, like with what's his name, the bounty hunter, and then a Han Solo one. I'm like, you don't need to do a specific series based on every single character. Come on, guys. But of course they're going to.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's just like Marvel. They don't need, you know, a Black Widow movie because we
I
know what
mean,
happens to
I
her,
mean,
but
I think they should have done one before they did Avengers, but
oh, I agree. I agree. But I'm saying like they don't need one of every character. That's
yeah,
the
they
point I was
don't.
trying to make.
Yeah,
Like Black Widow definitely deserved one. Don't get me wrong, but do we need one? No, because it took place in the past, so it doesn't really do much for the story going forward. That's all
yeah,
I meant.
yeah, I know.
Nothing against Black Woman or Black
Black-
Widow. Wow, Black Widow or women in general. I was gonna say, but like just in general, if a movie takes place in the past, it's
yeah,
it doesn't really do much for it. And like, yeah, that's all I meant. But
yeah. It's
Do we need one for Obi-Wan? No. Do we need one for Boba Fett? No. But people
they're
want to know about these characters because they're
they're
beloved
still
characters.
gonna put them out, and they're gonna have to do one, or they did one for Boba Fett to explain, because that did it happen after the Sarlacc?
I'm sorry?
Boba Fett. Did you watch it?
Not yet.
Oh,
No.
I was gonna ask. Did that happen after? Was it episode 4 when he got sucked into the Sarlacc?
Are you talking about when the series takes place? It
Yeah.
happens after episode 6.
Okay. Yeah. So it's after. So they would have to really explain how he got out of there. So that's the thing that
Uh,
people wanted, but that is like it could be a 10 or 30-minute thing of here's how it happened, and then he continues to do what he always did. There you go, guys. Whatever. But I'm sure they have their own story. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna take it, and I'm sure I'll hear about it if people hate those two series. Anyway, it looks like it'll be good. Like them getting back the original actors in the forms that they can will be good.
yeah. I'm not sure if you knew this about Christian Haydenson, but ever since he did Star Wars episodes 2 and 3, he's kind of retired from acting like on purpose. He just has been living his own life like out of the spotlight because he knows his character got some hate and
Mm,
he doesn't really need the money either. So he's just been living his own life for now. So it's I really appreciate that he's willing to come back for this because number one, again, he doesn't need the money, but he's still willing to do it for the fans. So
yeah.
that's always appreciated. He's not being a snob about it. And number two, he's willing to do it through the courage of people of all the criticism he took like in the last like what 20 years since episodes
Mm,
1, 2, 3 came out or something. It's been about that. I
close
think
to
they
it.
came
Yeah.
out like super early 2000s, so it's been about that. Yeah, I think like episode one's like 1999, but he wasn't in episode one, so episode 2 and 3 would have been around that more or
Mm,
less. So
yeah. I'm
yeah,
surprised he didn't continue acting after that, but yeah,
I
that's what
think
he
he was in
does.
one or two minor roles after that, but nothing
Yeah,
major. And
it'll be
yeah,
good.
we know he's Darth Vader at this point. I mean, he's not going to be using his own voice, but maybe there's going to be flashbacks or whatnot where we'll see him. And I'm wondering how they're going to kind of make him look the same as he did because like it's been 20 years. Maybe he looks the same as far as we know.
Maybe,
We know Ewan McGregor looks really good in these trailers. Like he looks exactly like Obi-Wan should right now.
yeah, like maybe they'll have the Keanu Reeves disease where he just doesn't age.
Don't tell them our Canadian secrets, Chris. Be quiet.
But yeah,
You must be quiet. No,
must never let out. It's all that maple syrup. I mean, no, except the maple syrup. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. I mean, I say I'm sure it's good because it's Disney, but we don't have a proof of that. I I hope
well,
it'll be good for the fans who will be watching it. I won't be watching it, but I'll hear about it because I
I
don't subscribe to Disney Plus.
I will definitely be watching it. It comes out on the end of May, so I'll probably renew my Disney Plus for that. I'll be curious to see how many episodes it is. Typically, has been the standard for the last few series. Like, what was it? Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, was 6. What else was 6? I Book of Boba Fett was 6, I believe. So
Hmm.
it's anywhere between 6 and 10. I think Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 are 10 episodes apiece, and then Book of Boba Fett was 6. I think WandaVision was like 8 or 9. So they just, I don't know. Like, I appreciate the fact that they're only going to do as many episodes they need. They're not going to like try and pad them out. Like, we must have 10 seasons or sorry, 10 episodes for every season.
Yeah,
They're actually free to have to tell their own story at their own pace. And if it ends a little early, it ends a little early.
that's the way these things should be done.
Yeah, agreed,
Allow them
agreed.
to tell the story they want and don't force them into a contract of you must have
I'm
this
like,
many episodes.
I'm like fucking Game of Thrones.
Hmm. Yeah, less
Fucking.
talked about that, the better.
So I think that's the major news for the day. That trailer was dropped on us like just like I don't know 6 or 7 hours ago at the time of this podcast.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know it
yeah,
even dropped. But we go into other newsy. Here's a quick one. Um, there was apparently two novels made for Mother and Mother 2, which would be Earthbound Origins, Earthbound Begins. They've now been like officially fan translated. Well, official. That doesn't make any sense. They've now been fan translated because they've never had official releases here, and you can go track those down if you ever want to read novelizations of these two games. I may try to track them down and read them at some point, but
I just know something, Chris. So when I switch to this screen, my face is really bright because there's a bright background. But when I switch to this, or even this, it's kind of normal again, isn't
yeah,
it?
you're whenever you swap
That's
to
such
the
a huge
one,
difference. I have a ring light here too, so I don't know why it's such a massive difference, but
it's
oh
just
well.
because of the whatever screen you or whatever you turned on is just all white on your monitor, so it's flashing onto your face. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, just a quick little thing. Hey, if you want to actually read or see what differences there are in like the novelization of these games, that's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. As you know, I played Earthbound when it first came out here just by chance and I loved it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the difference is. Did they say where we can read these? Like online on Nintendo's eShop or whatever? Like, did they
Oh,
say?
it won't be Nintendo. This is fan translation.
Oh, it's fan
Yeah,
translation. I
not
got you.
official. So you'll have to try and track it down. I do not see where it is listed here, at least on the site that I'm looking on, which was Nintendo Live. It's written on here. I don't see. So you'll have to go look it up yourself here. Sorry about that. I don't have the actual link, but yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I do not see a link or a site as to where you can download these. But I think it was via like Natsu no Bokuken.com. I think is what who originally talked about this. So maybe you can find it there. But I'm sure you could find it easily looking on Google. Next news story.
So, if it's okay with you, Chris, I'm going to bring up the other major one that we had today.
Sure, that would be
So,
good.
I know you were sleeping during this, and right after work for me, like, so Sony had their own like Nintendo Direct sort of thing. It was only 20 minutes long. It happened at 5 p.m. EST or 2 p.m. PST. So you can just kind of convert it for yourself, Chris. I think that's three for your time, which is what Mountain Time.
Yeah, Mountain Time. I think
Yeah,
2 hours behind you or ahead.
yeah. So it would have been 3 o'clock for you. So you would have been sleeping. But yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was only 20 minutes. There was a couple tidbits that I was like, oh wow, I can't wait for this. The first one, and Chris, this is our childhood we're talking about, so I expect you to be excited about this too. It's called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. Oh my god, it has every single 8-bit and 16-bit and arcade game that came out. And Game Boy game too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these games I haven't even played. I played like 90% of them. But yeah, man, I can't wait for this. So okay, let's go through the list, okay? For the arcades, like when I say arcade, I mean like the actual like arcade versions of these games. So the original Ninja Turtles, which ended up being Turtles 2 for the NES. That was that one, the one where you start in April's apartment on fire.
Mm.
You have the arcade version of Turtles in Time. That was Turtles 4, so it's Super Nintendo originally. These are both the arcade versions specifically, not the ports. And then you have for Nintendo the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the one made by Konami. Turtles 2,
Yep.
the arcade game. Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project. That was one and three were specifically for the consoles. They're never arcade ports. As I
Mm.
said, two was based off the first arcade game. You had Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. That was based off the second arcade game. Then what else do we have here? So I never had a Sega Genesis. So I didn't play these Turtles game. There's two of them. The Hyperstone, sorry, the one of them, the Hyperstone Heist. I know which one that is because if it was that front cover, Chris, of remember the Turtles like all hunched over like this, like on the ground, all four of them in the middle of a street, and like my hands like shrunk, and they're like, "Uh-oh." Do you remember
Yeah,
that cover?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I never played the game, but that was that game. And then what else? They have the three Game Boy games. I only ever played the first one for Game Boy. I never had it, but I always used to borrow it from friends. It's called the Fall of the Foot Clan. So they had Turtles 1 Fall of the Foot Clan, number 2 Back from the Sewers, number 3 Radical Rescue, all for the Game Boy. And then the ones I skipped out on, they had that. Remember that Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters game? They have the Nintendo version, the Super Nintendo version, and the Sega Genesis version. And apparently, there were enough differences that there were some exclusive characters in each version. I
Mm.
think
I believe
I could
so.
be wrong. I'm just going from memory, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So wow. and this was announced during the PlayStation presentation. Oh, my browser just crashed. That's not good. I
Uh-oh.
lost my. It's okay. I just hit a button. All my tabs are restored. Thank you, Chrome. You're amazing. I just have to scroll down to where I was though. Just give me a second. Yeah. So basically, as I said, it has 13 Nintendo games. Nintendo. Wow. Turtle Games has 13 Nintendo games. It'll be out sometime this year, as well as it wasn't just PlayStation. Even though the trailer says PlayStation, if you do a little bit of digging, it's also going to come out on Xbox, PC, and Switch. So basically everywhere on
Yeah.
all the consoles and PC. Thank God. Also, it has stuff like quick saves, rewind, save loads. And it's also some of the games, not all of them, a handful are going to have online multiplayer.
Yeah,
So
it'll be a good get to get all those.
yes, not all of them. All of them will have couch co-op if the game supported couch co-op in the first place. So an example would be Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo, not the arcade version, the Super Nintendo version. That game always supported two players, couch co-op. So you can still do that, but it doesn't support that online, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. So what games are going to be supported on for actual online multiplayer? Other
Yeah, so
I
um
wonder. Tournament
so
fighters maybe? And
they
then
had a list. They had a list. Let me just pull it up here again. I forgot about this, so I closed it, but I just found it. So give me 1 second.
because this will
Oh,
be a pretty good get
oh,
for
for sure.
all these turtle games. Do they have a price point? Do you know if they
They did not announce a price point, and
damn
even as I said, the release date was sketchy. They just said
coming
2022.
yeah,
So
coming this year. Yeah, I see.
yeah, coming this year. Oh man, I had a list here. I can't find it, but there was like only 4 or 5 of the games that had online.
Hmm.
But yeah, Chris, this is our childhood. So you need to take the day off now. I will just like play this online. But I know some of the games. So okay, off of the top of my head, the two arcade games you can play online. One of the Hyper Fighter games you can play online. And oh, for the other two, there's two more. You can't play the Game Boy games online because that wouldn't make sense.
No.
Um,
I don't know which other ones that they
yeah, I
could have
don't
worked it in.
remember. I'll find it for later on the podcast. I'm sure I'll find it by then.
Ah, well it's fine. Some of them are gonna be supported online. Most are couch co-op, it seems. But you can still work around that through Steam or by using Parsec and stuff like that to
Yeah,
do multiplayer. So
yeah.
there are ways.
Speaking of which, we should give that a shot again. Remember we were trying to do that earlier?
If we could ever get time to be able to play together because of my
Yeah.
shitty schedule.
Well, I have a new computer now too, so that should help a little bit with that. But yeah,
Mm.
anyways, that's a bit of a tangent.
Oh my
Um, and then the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, Chris, I got so there's only two things that really excited me. That was one of them from the PlayStation presentation. And the other, I'm not sure if you know about this, Chris. I specifically didn't tell you, but I'm sure you found out already. Was that one 3D JoJo fighting game is coming out.
I
And go ahead.
you mean it's being re-released?
Yes. And here's the thing. It's not just being re-released, but the original game had 32 characters, and this one they're putting it to 50. So it's actually
Mm-hmm.
18 brand new characters. Holy
It's a
shit.
roster of 50. It
I've
and they have characters from the new season. Jolene's in it. She showcased, or she was the first one that showed off, of course.
yep,
I do
yep.
believe I own this on the PS3, but since they're adding in all those new characters and such, I might buy it again just to
Might
play it again.
might you are gonna buy it again.
I
We
don't
we,
play.
we both know this.
I mean, I don't play many fighters as it is, and surprising to see this come out like an updated version for the new console for PS. Oh, sorry, PS4, PS5. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say Xbox as well, but I don't know for sure.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, at least for the PlayStation consoles, it's coming out. It's
Oh,
huh?
sorry. Sorry, I just found the price points from Turtles. $40.
Hmm.
It's not bad,
It's not
honestly.
bad. It could be a lot worse. It's not as cheap as I want, but it is like 13 classic games. We'll
Yeah.
see. I'm more likely getting it at some point. Same thing with this JoJo game, more than likely, because JoJo's fucking awesome. And all the new characters they're adding in from like the last few seasons they didn't have in for when it was out on PS3. So
So I found the game's online co-op. I was right. It was the two arcade games. So that's the original arcade and the Turtles in Time. So AKA Turtles 2, Turtles 4. But the arcade versions, not the console versions, as well as the Super Nintendo version of Tournament Fighters,
mhm.
which I think is considered the best version of all three. And then only one more, the Hyperstone Heist. That's the Sega Genesis version, Chris. Oh, that's the game specifically made for the
Hmm.
Sega Genesis, is what's what I meant. So there's only four actually. One of them is the fighting game, which but yeah, they had the two arcade games. Those are the two most important ones. If the arcade games didn't work, then that would have been caused the riots because those games support up to four players
Yeah.
online. Now the only other question, and we will probably won't know this until the game's out, is it crossplay? That's the only other question. Because
Mm.
if so, holy shit, would that be fun to play with you and two other people, Chris?
Yeah. It would be very nice if it's crossplay. 'Cause if I get this, it's either going to be like Switch or PC version. More likely PC, but we'll see if more information is available to us in the future about that. That'd be pretty cool. I
Yeah.
hope it is well.
So those are the two games I just specifically wanted to bring up because those are the two games I personally got excited for. But I think it is worth going down the list here
There,
just to see what else that they announced.
yeah. So they announced some game called Exoprimal. It I don't know. It's from Capcom. Sorry. It looks like you're in big stomping personal mechs shooting a bunch of dinosaurs. I don't know much in terms of like story and gameplay, but it just looks like you're fighting waves of dinos. Could be more to it. But I looked at this and went, Capcom, dinosaurs, why can't we just get a new or remastered versions of Dino
Dino
Crisis?
Crisis? Yeah.
Thank you that you
Yeah.
knew where I was going with this.
Of course. You said dinosaurs and Capcom. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, and that's first thing I thought here. I'm like, Dino Crisis, please. I would like to have those on something that isn't locked on the original PlayStation. So,
Yeah.
uh, but go check out the trailers of this stuff if anything sounds interesting. There's also one that I'm interested in, the
Okay.
Diofield Chronicle, by by Square. It's not. It's done in like the similar kind of tactic RPG style as like Tactics and Fire Emblem, I believe, but pretty close.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I wasn't too impressed. And honestly, most of Twitch chat was like either Zzz or Resident Sleepers. I was like, yeah, I mean, like what you guys just put out Triangle Strategy. Do we really need another one right now? Like another tactical game? Like I know that's not coming out like right now, but it's coming out like this year, I think, isn't it?
I believe so.
Really need a second
I
one?
think these are all announced for this year. Yeah, coming 2020. There's no date. But yeah, not that they don't need it, but I'm definitely up for them re-releasing or putting out new versions of these. Like this looks like a slightly different take on the like kind of strategy. Like it seems more grand scale, if that makes more sense, as opposed to what I assume Triangle Strategy will be more like tactics, like more story driven, tactic based, right? I guess is a good way to put it. So, but it looks good. What really I like is the art that they showed off at the beginning and stuff like that. So I'm like, ooh, some nice art, and you know, I'm down for Square doing something other than the normal stuff, like them bringing back or some old franchises they own, or bringing out some new actual IPs, right? So I'm always
Yeah.
down for that. And speaking of Square Enix reviving an old franchise, not in a mobile game form, the Valkyrie series is coming out with a new entry. The last one was Valkyrie Profile, I believe. Could be wrong. This one is Valkyrie Elysium. I believe action RPG in that franchise. I'm excited for this as well. Yeah,
I have no
looks
thoughts. I don't even know about this franchise existed.
Yeah, there's
so I don't really have
two,
much to say.
three, something like games in the series. I don't remember all the names of them, but they've now remembered that this series exists and decided to put it out as something. Returnal is getting a free update with co-op and a
Yeah.
new area or areas. I don't know how exactly works for this, but I hope it's multiple. I believe new area would be multiple floors, right? I
So
don't know.
they said this DLC is going to be several things. One of them is going to be online co-op, which is amazing
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
this is one of those like kind of Dead Cells sorts of games where you're expected to die until you succeed, pretty much. And if you die, you start again from the very start.
Yeah,
It's all randomly generated.
it's all
I saw my
roguelite.
friend Alta Maynard play this game, and it was pretty good, but it's only for PlayStation 5, I believe. Anyways, so some of the modes that they're adding in with this online co-op doesn't support the co-op. The co-op is just like the original version of the game, basically the version that just shipped. None of the new stuff is going to be co-opable, if that makes sense. It's just going to be the original game that's co-opable, and all the new stuff like the tower that you climb, that's going to be only single player again.
Will the new map be multiplayer, or is
When you
that?
say new, when you say the new map, do you
Or
mean the tower?
it says new area and a huge tower that you have to work your way up floor by floor. So I assume new area means another area added onto the base game, right?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
I never played the game.
Those who play, I know there's lots of people hype or who were hyped for the game when it came out. New content is always good. So, and as far as I know, it is free. I did not see anything on here that says price point. So awesome. Uh, of course, come game launching pretty soon. Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know if I'm gonna bother playing it, but it has very pretty, very nice looking, awesome art. So and art style in the game.
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea, so
But it's coming out like on the 22nd of this month, so it's out soon.
yeah, really soon.
A game called Forspoken, I believe it was already announced before. I don't know anything about this game.
Correct. I don't know much either, honestly.
Unfortunately, I do not. It's one that's not been on my radar. So it reminds me of the bit of the trailer shows off like a dragon with this what looks to be its heart outside its chest. I'm like, oh, it's Dragon Heart. Whatever that movie.
Yeah. And I will handle the next game, Chris.
Yes, you will,
So
because you are waiting for this.
pretty much. Um, so they even though this game's about to come out in like if you count early access in a week, they still felt the need to put a trailer for Final Fantasy's Origin Stranger of Paradise. Uh, just the new gameplay. They also announced there's a new demo as of today. So
Hmm.
I guess this is the second demo. Maybe it's just remember there was like that limited time demo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's the same one. Probably not, or if it's a different one. So yeah, I mean, not really much to say. I'm bringing it up because I find it weird that they felt the need to put this out, even though it's not PlayStation exclusive. So it's not for that reason. And the game's about to come out. Like they don't really need a trailer for it at this point. I don't think, but maybe they just want to remind people, hey, this game exists.
Probably not,
Go
but
pre-order.
they are putting a lot of money behind it to say, hey, here, go buy. You buy. Yeah. Next, Gundam
This
Evolution.
one I will let you handle because I know you're a huge Gundam fan. Basically, it's a
I
6-on-6 fighting game or fighting shooter game.
Yeah, Gundam's first I believe first person free to play multiplayer shooter game will not be buying or playing. Or I guess I don't buy it, but I will not be playing this. Fuck this. I don't give a shit, man.
Wow,
It's a
really? I thought
shooter.
you're a huge. Yeah, but still, I thought you were a
It's
huge Gundam.
multiplayer also focused. Screw that. I don't want to play. I do not want to play Call of Duty with Gundam mechs. I don't want
That's
to
fair.
play. What's the other one? Like Overwatch with Gundam mechs. I want to play a single player story driven Gundam game with a tactical or third person because I want to see the mechs. I want to fly around as Death Scythe and see Death Scythe and be cool as Death Scythe and all the
Yeah,
other Gundams. This does not appeal to me, but I'm sure it will to lots of Gundam fans. It it's not for me. I don't care
you
about it.
know, what I found funny about the trailer was at the very start it said some gameplay angles are not in-game footage. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
so like you can never see your own Gundam essentially is
Yeah,
what you guys are
I
trying to tell us.
believe it is first person, which would make sense in it because they want you to feel like you're in the mech, even though
You're not.
even though one you're not, even though two that's not how a mech would be holding those guns because first person doesn't actually look like first person in games. So if you know anything about that, like where they mount guns and how your character actually looks, if you break a camera out of a first person camera, do you know that? So like you know what we'll see Fallout. No, not yeah. We'll see like Fallout or something. When the first person camera will be like mounted in the chest or the neck. Sometimes they'll put it in the head, but if they put it in the head, you like remove the camera out of there, and you'll see your characters actually running around like this with the gun in front of their head like this and going like that. It's fucking stupid looking. Yeah, and when they go to aim, they go whoop. Like that's not how you hold a goddamn weapon. Like I love seeing people break the cameras in games and seeing how stupid the characters' models look when you don't actually see what they look like. Only some games I've seen where they actually hold the guns the way they're supposed to when they're running around in first person.
What's that? Which one?
I don't remember, but there's been a couple. But most of them have to screw around with the way the arms are being held and stuff like that, just to make it look normal. Like imagine Borderlands. Like you've seen how close the guns are up to the screen. Imagine how
Yeah.
close you have to hold a gun like that. It's like 2 inches from your face to make it look like that. That's not how you hold a goddamn gun. Anyway, bitch about that. Okay. Anyway,
And you should also handle the next game, Chris, because that's all you.
Ninja Turtles.
No, the one we
Oh
discussed that one.
yeah, I just went past that. Giga Bash. It is this one. I have less of a I have more of a reason to play, but this looks like more of a fun get together game as opposed to the Gundam game. Giga Bash is a kaiju arena kind of brawler. Uh, Multiplayer looks like there's different modes. Like you can have everyone against everyone, maybe team based like 2-on-2, or everyone against one giant kaiju. But yeah, it's I've heard a lot about this. I swear they were trying to get Godzilla in this, if he's not actually in the game. Seen lots of ads on my Twitter about this, because kaiju, and I follow that stuff. But it's just looks like a kaiju brawler game. Could be cool. I actually thought this was already out, unless this is an announcement to go on console. But yeah, could be cool. I don't know if I'll actually play. It says coming soon on PS5 and 4. So
So we have a question from the audience for you, Chris.
oh,
Nessie wants to know what you think of Rust gun holding.
I actually have not seen. I have barely played Rust in myself, so I actually don't know. Sorry that I cannot answer that. I've put maybe I want to say like a few hours in, but Rust is a game that I'm not into itself. Like I'll play like Conan and some of those types of games, but most of my experience in Rust was playing the game for a bit and having some asshole walk up to me, shoot me in the head, and then walk off. And the only thing I have is a fucking rock in my hand. So he killed me for no reason. He doesn't bother to check the body. He just shoots you and walks off. So fuck that game. And that's my that's but from what I can remember, I think they it looked a little bit better, but I honestly don't remember. Sorry, Nessie.
So yeah, that's why I don't like playing those games either. It's like I'd rather just chill out and not have to be pissed that like there's such a disadvantage. As you said, you have like a rock. They have like weapons. If they can shoot you in the head, that means
Yeah. Or
they have a gun,
or
obviously,
because
right?
it's a living kind of map, if you're on a live server, you go to bed and you wake up the next day and your entire base has been exploded and you're dead. And you wake up on the
Yeah.
beach going, the hell happened? So yeah, I don't like if I play those games, I'll play on my own. I'll start my own server and do that, right? Like I'm doing with
Mhm.
Conan. um,
Conan.
Next game,
Are you playing with the nudity mods? Well, it's not really mods. It's just like the uncensored,
I
right?
believe whatever the default is, so I think that is turned off because I
Okay.
don't really give a shit about the nudity. Who cares?
Here's the funny thing. Apparently, you were allowed to stream it on Twitch, But if you make like clips like on the PlayStation or Xbox ecosystem of Conan when you have the nudity, you can get banned for it.
Wow.
Even though they offer you to download the DLC, there's a warning. Hey, don't make clips of this and upload to either Xbox or PlayStation Network,
Yeah.
or else you get banned. It's like what?
Yeah.
Like you guys are giving me.
Twitch is okay with it as long as you're not just sitting there in your character menu and just staring at your dong. You know, as long as the nudity
What
isn't the
happens?
focal point, you can't. It's okay. Like what happens in if you're playing God of War, if you're playing Cyberpunk, they have nudity in them. As long as it's not a focal point, it's okay on Twitch. You
Yep.
know, as long as that's not the purpose of the stream, it's to sit there.
Yep.
But saying that, there was some guy who was playing GTA and all he did was sit in the strip clubs and just watch them strip and get lap dances, and they allowed that on Twitch for the longest bloody time.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah, it is, isn't it? Not really. Next game that they showed off was actually one that looks cool to me. Trek to Yomi. It is a black and white, like very Akira Kurosawa kind of samurai side-scrolling uh, platformer, I guess is a good way to put it. Like it looks like the scenes in like samurai movies or ones that are trying to mimic them, where they go like Kill Bill did this, where they show the vignette very side scroll or very from the side, and they show like a cool fight going on and blood hitting the screen or hitting the walls, but it's all done in 2D, like from one perspective. That's what this looks like, and it looks cool. I might actually have to look out for this game when comes out. And it's done by Flying Hog. They're a cool developer, from what I remember.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on this. I saw the trailer, but I'm not really into black and white or kind of like the old samurai era sort of games. So I just can't really say
Hmm.
anything. Not really
I
my cup of tea.
I very much am. I played most of fucking what's it called in in black and white, the Sony samurai game, because I never beat it. I don't remember what it's called.
I got nothing.
Anyway, I'm very much am in this era. I like these types of games, and this aesthetic looks really cool. So, and I
And
think
yeah, that was all that they announced. It was a very short 20-minute PlayStation Direct, if you want to call it that, or well, I forget the name of the
the state of
state.
play.
Yeah, that's the state of play. That was it. It just came to my mind as I said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it for that. So Chris,
Anything
should I
else?
bring up the next story, or do you want to? Okay,
Uh,
I'll just bring it up.
yeah.
So
Sorry, I was scrolling through to try to find
so
one.
yeah, it's been a couple weeks since there's a piece of Activision Blizzard news. But
That's
guess what, Chris? We got to talk about them again
that's the
because
news I
they
was trying
fucked
to
up
find.
again.
I
Hooray!
mean, again, you mean just more shit has opened up based on something they definitely weren't trying to hide and
Exactly.
tried to shame people for bringing up.
Yeah, so remember how, and I'm not saying these are related, this is actually a question. Remember how we talked about, I don't know, maybe like 10 episodes ago, there was that female employee that I don't, I think, I don't think she killed herself. I think maybe she did. I don't remember,
Yeah,
but it was
she did.
a direct, it was a direct result because pictures of her genitalia got showed around at a Christmas party and she couldn't handle it. I'm not sure what happened to her specifically. I don't think this is the same woman
I
from this
think it
story.
is.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to ask. I wasn't sure, but if you think it is, then
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm 100%
So,
certain it is.
okay, fair enough. So the same woman who had that Christmas party scandal around her, um, basically the parents of her are suing Activision Blizzard for a lot of money regarding her death because Blizzard knew about it. Their claim is that Blizzard knew about it, could have prevented it, and they chose not to. And given everything that's come out about Activision Blizzard recently, yeah, it's you know I I don't know the proof that they have, but with everything that's been going on, it does not
The
surprise me. It's more shit to put in the pile, essentially. You know.
mm,
So basically, the parents are saying um, that Blizzard knew about it, could have prevented it from happening because their daughter, Carrie, I hope I'm saying her last name correctly, Moynihan. No, Moynihan. I think Moynihan. I think it's Moynihan. Um, her direct supervisor, which was a 32-year-old finance manager. Um, yeah, they found her dead at a Blizzard company retreat in 2017. But the manager no longer works at Blizzard, probably fired due to this, honestly. But yeah, they're let's see. According to reports, she's the employee yeah, she was the employee referenced back in the California Department for Employment and Housing. Yeah. So yeah, you're right, Chris. That
Mm,
was the same woman. Yeah, that's just a terrible thing. I'm
yeah.
glad I'm glad the parents are at least taking this to court with Blizzard because
Yes.
Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, so like this was the same person like mentioned in that lawsuit who when they talked about this in the lawsuit, Blizzard went, "For shame, how dare you bring this up? We are mortified you would do this." The guy who shared around these pictures who lied about his relationship with her because they were
Yep.
dating at the time, claimed he wasn't, and it was revealed that they were. Activision Blizzard tried covering it up. They tried to shame people for talking about it. And we're like, well, how do you think the family feels about this? I'm sure they don't feel very nice, Blizzard. They tried to cover this shit up. And that the family just found out about it. Like, fuck you, Blizzard. Like, this guy, like, just everything about this is such shit. Like, just more and more, well, as we said, just more shit being thrown on this fucking Activision Blizzard bonfire. Like, and we know that they tried to cover it up. Like, with everything that's been going on, there's no doubt that they did. If the family's now seeking to sue, like they obviously were lied to about what happened to their daughter. That's what it reads to me, at least.
Yes, definitely. And it's disgusting that they uh let it get to this point and they're still trying they still think they didn't do anything wrong. It's just fucking disgusting. So what was their statement here? I just had it here. I just lost it. Give me a second. Yeah, so their official statement to IGN was, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic death of Miss Moynihan, who was a valued member of the company. We will address the complaint through the legal process as appropriate, and out of respect for the family, we have no further comment at this time."
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
that's just
usual thing they will say to not say anything because I think in a way they legally can't because it's being taken to court. So
correct, correct. But still, it's like at least sometimes companies defend themselves. Like, no, we are disgusted about the allegations, and we look forward to the court date to defend ourselves or something along those lines. But
yeah,
no, they're just kind of putting their face down and like, or head down, I should say, and just like saying as little as possible, I guess. But
yeah,
it's just
it's the best it's the best thing they could do until the court date, 'cause then they could present their case. But if
really,
this even gets taken to court, like this could just be settled out of court so that this never gets taken to court. Because it looks worse if they have to be taken to court
yeah.
for the
And
company. That is, of course,
yeah, all the parents want is money at this point, I believe. But still,
and maybe a proper fucking uh, what's it called?
apology.
Apology from the company
That's not going to happen.
or from the man who fucking did this too. Like that was the better thing. Like, of course, money, but you know, for the company to whatever.
I'm not sure how that works because he no longer works for the company. So I have no idea how that works. Like if the company got sued over this, is he involved because he was working at the company at the
Hmm.
time? Or does he not get involved because he's no longer there prior to this
Because they're going
lawsuit being
after the
filed?
company itself. As far as we know, he's not listed in the lawsuit.
Okay.
Specifically as a person, I don't know for sure. He could be, but
So he gets off scot-free. I hope fucking not.
uh, I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how this works, especially since Chris and myself are both Canadian. This is US law.
Yeah,
So
it could be something that they would have to go after him personally if they find enough evidence to go after him. But it seems like this lawsuit is specifically Activision Blizzard and them apparently knowing what happened and that they could prevented it. So that's what this
yes,
sounds like to
yes.
me. So
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Like it's up to they want they're suing Blizzard because they could have prevented it. So maybe the person who is directly responsible isn't going to get the blame. It's the company because of his actions. It's his actions, but his person isn't going to get. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I believe that's
it,
what it would be. Unless if
yeah,
one of them tried to go after him, or if one of the two sides tried to drag him into it personally, but I don't know if they can.
but they should.
Yeah,
Like morally, they should.
they should, and I'm sure it's going to be part of the talking points, is what happened there, obviously, because it's the thing that set it off. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know law. I don't know any of this,
Yeah, it's just a
but this
sad
is
state of affairs. I'm so sorry to that woman and her family for the shit that the shitty company did to her and a bunch of other women and other people. So
yeah, just continued shit on the shit pile.
yeah, I'm just honestly, Chris, I'm looking forward to when Xbox gets them because it's been in the
Hopefully,
rumor mill for months now that when Xbox officially acquires them, Bobby Kotick is on his way out, and that's like the biggest form of cancer. They're going to cut out the biggest form of cancer with that acquisition by
wow,
cutting.
because
Cut,
last I had heard they were saying, "Oh no, he's going to keep his position." So if he does get booted, good. I mean, yeah, but
I mean, yeah, everyone listening may not be fans of Xbox or Microsoft, but if it means the end of Bobby Kotick, finally, then that's like when you cut out the biggest form of cancer, everything else will be that much easier to change over
hopefully,
time.
hopefully the
So
rot hasn't set in on the rest of them.
it needs to start at the top. It
It
really
does.
does. So he's the top person. Get rid of the fucking
Just
top person who's the most
cut the heart
responsible.
out, and hopefully the
Yeah,
replacement is better.
just reform the whole organization. Xbox will have, sorry, I say Xbox. Microsoft will have the power to do that once they acquire them. And yeah, even Bobby knows his time is up. There's a very good chance.
I mean, I don't think he cares at this point. He's gonna get
No,
a big fucking payout. Fucking
yeah,
garbage. He doesn't fucking
yeah.
deserve it. Uh,
No,
next news story, which is an update to one we've done. Um, so remember that guy who faked the COVID? How many employees worked for him to get money to buy a $75,000 Charizard Pokemon card?
yeah, yeah.
So he's yeah, that piece of shit taking that money. So he's now been charged with wire fraud.
Good.
Uh, so this is a very quick story. Yeah, he's been charged with wire fraud. He has been sentenced, or he's going to be sentenced, at least as of now, I think 3 years in jail with 3 years probation. I think it's what it was. He'll also have to pay back the $85,000 loan along with an additional $10,000 fine. But depending on where the rest of the court case goes, he could get anywhere up to 20 years and a $250,000 fine. But that depends on the rest of the court case. But right now, yeah, he's being charged with wire fraud, and because
Good.
that's what he admitted to finally. But yeah, at least he's getting fucking not getting off scot free, because that's fucking garbage. Taking COVID funds to buy a goddamn fucking card that like, what a piece of shit.
He took that money like 80, was it 75 or eighty five
I
thousand
think it was
dollars,
85,000.
and he spent like 50 odd some of it to buy the fucking card.
Yeah,
And that was supposed to be for him and his employees to live off
yeah.
of.
But he lied about how many employees he had, yada yada. Yeah. The, what a garbage. I'm glad
And
he's
now and now he's going to be in jail for 3 full years with no chance of parole. He has to pay back the complete $85,000 plus an additional fine of
yeah.
$10,000. So he has to ask himself, was that card really worth it? Probably
Depends.
not.
Does he get to keep the card and resell it later?
I don't know. They don't mention that he had to return it, so I would imagine he gets to keep it.
Because if he gets to keep it, then yeah, it's worth it because he could sell it for more later.
Yeah, but you're giving up 3 years of your life. It's not just an investment.
I
It's like
know.
you're literally giving up your life
he's gonna
force.
he's gonna have to sell it when he gets out so he can have money.
It literally costs you 3 years of your life. That's like making a in Death Note the deal with the Shinigami eyes, Chris. You have to give up half of your life for this deal. He did the same thing. He's like, you have to give up three years of your life for this deal. Do you take the deal?
Yes.
Or talking about the card, not the Shinigami eyes, Chris.
No.
There you go. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Well,
Yeah, very quick.
good that he's getting punished because he's a piece of shit that doesn't deserve that money because he screwed up.
Mhm.
He screwed out. Potentially he screwed someone else out who actually needed the money. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, good. Uh, a very odd one here. Atari, the corpse of Atari, or whatever's left of it, is
yeah,
apparently decided to acquire a video game database site called MobyGames for, was it 1.5 million?
correct.
Not much to say here, really. Uh, I don't understand why they're trying to buy a video game database. That's all it is a place for people to write down all the information and keep an online database and that of games have been released. I don't understand their move here. It's very questioning. The last time I heard about this, I'll mention before I let you talk, is that there was someone else who, another, I believe it was a private sale for another video game database. I don't remember the name of it. I wish I can remember the name of it. But when he had acquired it, he was saying, "Oh yeah, I'll keep the site up. It'll run like always, yada yada." And then the site started to turn to shit. The site got shut down, and they started to sell off that information. So I don't know if that'll happen here because this is a business deal, not a private sale. I guess it could be a little different because this is actually being made very public by the company and the site. I don't understand why Atari would do this. I don't think that they're going to sell off the information because, information is worth money, even if it is old info. But why? Do you have anything to say or any insights?
Not really. Like MobyGames, I never used, but it's just as you said, like it's basically Wikipedia for games, except like it has a lot of data on it. Like not every game, but a lot of games are on there. But like that's like saying Atari bought Wikipedia. It's like
Mm,
why?
yeah, I don't
It doesn't
understand.
make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like
It's
because Wikipedia is bleeding money because every 2 or 3 months they have to pop a pay. Can you donate? Like if every reader who is reading this donated $1, we'd never need to ask again. We get those ads from Wikipedia every once in a
yeah,
while. It's like why would you buy a database of information? It just doesn't make any
yeah.
sense.
I mean, Atari has made some weird decisions in the past, a lot in the last few years. Like they've been trying to make their own not their own console, but their own, I guess, flashback. Would that be a good way to put it? Like kind of plug and play consoles. They release, the Atari collections here and there, right? You know, the Atari collections aren't that big a deal. They, as long as they're being re-released. Um, they've also, did some deals with like hotel chains and making an Atari coin, which is what it sounds like, a Bitcoin with the Atari name on it. They've made some weird decisions. So, and this one's also weird, and I don't know why. Like, I, I, it's very weird. So, not much else to say other than I guess we'll see what they do with it in the future. Hopefully, they just keep it up and let it exist. Cause don't don't shut it down. The databases need to exist in a form or another. Don't
Well, it
don't
would be
paywall it. Don't shut it down. Just let it be as it is.
it would be really weird to buy it just to shut it down or alter it, honestly. It would be super bizarre. It would not be a good business move. It's like not only are you wrecking the money you've already spent, but like any potential,
Yeah,
because if you're knocking everything down, it can't be really built up again to the same level. Because this is all people doing it out of their free time.
yeah. But you'd think that with the other database, but then that was shut down and then sold off. So I don't think that Atari would do that. I would like to hope they don't, but like hopefully they just do this and either make the site better, yada yada, and just like continue as is. That's the best we can hope for, really. Don't
Yeah,
screw it up at what it is already. Do
agreed.
you want to bring up another?
Yeah, so I think this is the last one I'm going to bring up. At least for me, that's all I see that we have left this week. Chris is this is just a proof of concept. You can't actually play games, but without any modding whatsoever, right now you can download. It's already on the shop, I believe. You can download something onto your Nintendo Switch it's like an emulator for Vita games.
Mm.
Again, this is just a proof of concept. It's just the emulator. No software is being provided, so this is perfectly above the belt. It's
It's
perfectly
on the
legal.
eShop?
I
I'll
believe
have to
so. I
look it
could be
up.
wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's probably not. I thought I saw it was, but I'm just going from memory. It's called Horizon OS, and basically, yeah, you don't need any modding. It's just it naturally runs. I say naturally, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's natively runs
Hmm.
on the Switch. You don't need to mod it with any software, hardware, and yeah, you can play. It's a Vita emulator. It's not finished. It's not perfect, but it's just a proof of concept. That's really amazing, honestly. Like that someone managed to do that because, as we know, Sony tried to close down the store
Yep.
a few months ago, and even Nintendo's remember they're closing down their own store for the 3DS and for the Wii, I believe, or the Wii
Doomsday
U. I forget.
Doomsday is still coming, but
Yes. So the more we can emulate and get emulators on other, you know,
plat
consoles or PCs or whatnot,
hmm.
that all the better, right? Because they're both handheld systems that makes sense to
Yeah,
have a handheld system emulator on a handheld system because just due to the nature of how some of the games are. But yeah, honestly, that's pretty fucking awesome.
it is. I saw this and thought, oh, and then I heard it was only as of right now, like it's a lot of homebrew and proof of concept. I'm like, oh, so I am excited. I do like the Vita. There's lots of games on there I want. Mostly are in Japanese, but a lot of those actually Japanese games I wanted have been slowly getting either translations or being ported to Switch and PC. So that library gets smaller and smaller, but I do like the Vita games, not the Vita and not the PSP. I like certain games from those consoles. The consoles are, to me, the Switch is better. It's much bigger and fits in my hand a lot better. The Vita and that were really tiny, and it hurt my hands, and I have small hands, so I can't imagine someone who has big hands playing on those consoles, getting all the cramps, like trying to dinosaur, T-Rex style your hands onto the tiny console. But yeah, this is really, really cool. I I don't know how much emulation for Vita itself is on PC, but get it to work natively on the Switch because apparently, on this video from Vintage Gamer, is that whom it was? Correct me if I'm wrong, Shawn. The guy you linked the video from, Modern
Sorry,
Vintage Gamer,
sorry, leaked the video. Which one are you talking about?
the guy who posted the video. Yeah, Modern Vintage Gamer. There it is. He posted a video talking about this. This is what you linked, and it apparently like the way the games were coded are pretty or almost the same as like the Switch. So that's how come you could port these fairly easily. But it is still the emulator or the software they have set up right now is still a work in progress. So you don't be expected to like drop in, you know, whatever Vita game you want in there for it to work right away. It's only certain games that have been tested so far, and take that as it is. But it's out there, and it's really awesome. I can't wait to look at it and try it out at some point in the future when more stuff is supported on it. Because if this is on the eShop, that would be crazy. I'm gonna have to look it up later. And
Um,
go on.
it could be. Don't quote me though.
Yeah, if anything, I'm sure I don't think it'll be that hard to get it on there. It sounds like you don't actually have to mod your system to put it on there, so that's good.
Nope, nope, not in any way, shape, or form.
And I guess last bit of news, which we could have talked about earlier when we talked about trailers. They are releasing two new movies for the brain fart here. Full Metal Alchemist live action movies.
Well, yes, I was going to ask you about these. It looks to me as if these take place in the future, even though I don't see how that's possible because it seems like Ed's taller, older. You know what I mean?
It
It
I
doesn't
did
seem
bel
like he's a teenager
I
anymore.
think it's the same actor, and it has been a while since his movies come out, so that's to be expected. And yes, if you didn't know, I believe the first movie he was supposed to be about 20, 21 years old when that was released. So they aged him up in that movie as well. which,
Like the character or
yeah,
the
the
actor?
character, I
Okay.
believe. But still, he was acting, similarly to how Ed, sorry, how Ed was acting in the anime. So, they didn't want to wreck that. But they're releasing two new movies. First one, at least, is the Scar movie, or Scar incident, I guess is a better way to put it, right? It will be based on that. Now, I want to say the second one is going to be the General. Is that his ranking? It'll be that storyline, I want to say. The end of the series. I could be wrong about what the second movie will be, but they released trailers for the Scar. And yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the first movie. Those bits of it I was kind of like, meh, about. Mostly of how they're trying to do the anime, reactions in a live action movie. It felt very off to me, but the movie itself overall wasn't too bad. So I'm sure that you and I will be checking out these movies when we get a hold of
Yes.
them.
So when did they say they're coming out?
I don't know if they're this year. I want to say the first one's this year in May 20th. The other one, they just have a date of January, March, April, May, June 24th, but I don't see years attached to these. So I'm
Right.
assuming this year, but I
I
don't know. I want to
I
say the
would
first
assume that
one,
as well.
I assume the first one is this year, and the second one does not have a year on it. So, meh.
I would assume because it has a specific date, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't have a year, it's going to be this year.
If they both come out this year, that's actually pretty cool as well. There's a couple of live action movies I'm going to have to check out this year. So
There you go.
these two and the new Kenshin movie.
Okay.
That one I need
Oh,
to
and
see.
I think we're done with the story, right?
Yeah, Wiz.
Yeah. So I heard the new Batman is really good. I heard it's good. So I might go see it this weekend. We'll see.
Hmm. I could care less. I
I'm a big Batman fan, so
mean,
I
I
this new
might.
Batman, I wasn't really. I'm like, oh god, this movie looks terrible in the trailers, but everyone's saying it's good. I'm like, okay, maybe it is good after all. So
Yeah, I've heard people say Batman Year Two, which I think is pretty much what they've kind of said in the trailer. Like it's his second year as Batman. So could be good. I don't know. I'll probably watch it at some point in my life. I don't know. At
have you
first, I
even seen
was
the Christian Bale movies yet?
unfortunately I watched two of them. I don't like Christian Bale, and I don't like the who was it that directed those ones?
I forget now.
Because I believe the director I also don't like. So, two things on that. I don't like that the Batmobile was a tank. Well, it basically was, right? I don't like just a lot of stuff in those movies I didn't like. I didn't like the Joker in those movies. I didn't like their interpretation of Bane in those movies. So just a lot of that, I was like, no, I don't like. Like even though I didn't watch the Bane movie, just what I seen in the trailers, I didn't like because Bane was the last one, right? So I
Yes.
saw the first one and I was like, and then I saw the second one. I went, no, and that's enough for me to say I'm not watching the third one.
You didn't like Bane when a man's life is his life, Mr. Marsh from South Park.
I did not.
That's the one.
I didn't
That's the
watch that.
one.
All I heard out of that trailer was, "Oh, his stay a while and listen." Deckard Cain from fucking
Deckard
Diablo.
Cain.
That's what I heard. And
No.
no, but Bane to me is the way he was it Batman Forever, Batman and Robin,
Oh yeah.
the huge juiced up roided monster.
Yes.
That's what I
Yes.
wanted to see, and that's not what we got.
That's fair. That's fair because even in the Batman Arkham games, Bane appears in two of them, and the first one you fight him, and like he just hulks the fuck out.
Yeah, but Bane's always huge. Even though he eventually gets control of his mind and starts controlling the juice, he still can juice himself up. But he's still a huge Hulk, and even and I don't see that in the guy who's in that movie. I don't see him as a guy who's being able to break Batman's back over his knee. I don't think he's that big in the Christian Bale movie. So, I already based on that, I'm like, no. So, for me, with certain characters, I want them to look a certain way. And, It's like, the Joker and Suicide Squad. Like, that's not the Joker I want to see. Right? You can understand where I'm going for this. Right?
Yeah.
So, even though people like those movies, I personally didn't like where it's going. It's like the Transformers. I watched the
Oh
first
God.
two Michael Bay Transformers and said, no, I don't want to see any more from this series. Even if they go with the old layout like they did in Bumblebee, like the way they looked old in those. Like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't care. You've put me off of it so hard with the first two movies that screw this entire live action movie series. Right? So, and I love Ninja Turtles. I'm not watching Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles.
I still haven't seen that.
I don't
Still.
watch to. My buddy Rob tells me I have to see them, even just to see what they do with them, and especially the second one with Krang and a Bebop Rocksteady. I'm like, I don't know if I want to see that because I don't like Michael Bay's. I don't like his new movies. I like Michael Bay back in the day when he was like an indie kind of director doing horror movies, because he could do what he wants in those and make them as weird and whatever he wants in those. This new, start with Transformers Michael Bay era. No, no, thank you. Right? So
So, do you know
the
the
Muffin
two
Man.
live action? Yes, but besides that, do you know the two live action Venom movies?
Yes, I heard they were mad to pretty good.
So, but you know the actor, like the main, like Eddie
Eddie
Brock,
Brock, yes.
he's Bane.
Yeah, I know.
I did not know that till right now. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, that's who Bane was. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In general, I don't think he's that bad of an actor from what I've seen him
No,
in.
he's
It's
not.
just
He's not.
I don't think of him as Bane. I don't think he's that big to be Bane. That's my problem. you know, so that's my problem with that version of him. But yeah, I heard those Venom movies aren't too bad if you want that kind of universe of Bane. Oh, not Bane. Fuck.
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock slash Venom. Thank you. My brain, because it happens. My brain gets stuck on a topic and then I forget what I'm talking about. But I think that's actually it.
The
Yeah,
doctors tell me I have brain damage,
damn it.
damage.
me, me have, was it me have brain damage? That's impossible. Um, but I think that's it for us this week. We're going to take off here. You can catch
Yep.
me at Twitch on Prince_Kaboom. Later tonight, I'm probably going to be doing more RE4. I don't know if I'm going to be beating it. I don't think I'm that close to the end, but I'm going to continue on with it and die a lot. It's going to happen. More dogs will eat my face, and I will like it because it will be punishing. I am abusing more and more the quick save feature in the game because I'm playing on emulator. Because screw it. Because I didn't use it as much before, but I'm gonna get through it. Um, I slowly upload things onto Twitch or onto YouTube on MrPrinceKaboom, like full re-uploads of my live streams, and if I can ever get around to editing, I was thinking of doing like another YouTube channel for like the edit stuff and whatever, but I don't know. I haven't edited in a long time. And I'm on Twitter under SCHABANG. It's C Shebang. And every now and then I'll post some stuff on there. And I'll also post stuff on Instagram under Chris_Shebang. So it shouldn't be too hard to find if you just kind of, I think, search my last name, which is half of my Twitter, or most of my Twitter. And how about you, Zorb? Where can they find you? And what will you be up to?
You can find me most things: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. For Zorb_Zex, and then Instagram is just a dot instead of underscore. I will be streaming. At least I'll be trying to every day for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'm taking Saturday off because I have something planned.
Hmm.
But aside from that, I am trying to do that if I can. That's kind of a personal challenge. Also, it's an achievement on Twitch. I
Yeah.
have to stream 25 days in a month. So I kind of want to get that achievement that I don't have to worry about it. Plus it'll get me a chance to kind of I'm actually glad I'm doing it because I know you don't care about achievements, Chris, but for me it's like it motivates me now because I kind of with me working this job now, I switched the times I streamed from the mornings to the evenings, so I kind of need to rebuild my base. So I need to kind of just focus on that. And yeah, this is actually a good way of doing it because if I'm streaming every day for a little while, then I'm being very consistent, which is a very important thing to have on Twitch. So yeah, we're playing some Final Fantasy 6, some Hollow Knight, and then next week probably we'll start off with Final Fantasy Origins Strangers of Paradise. So then I have Elden Ring already planned after that, hopefully.
Oh, I really want to get a
So
copy of that game.
which one?
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring? Yeah. Um, and then I probably hope maybe on Friday I'll start the next Five Nights at Freddy's games because I've done the first five to 100%, and the next one is Pizzeria Simulator. So I've never played that one. It should be fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
So that's it for me.
Yeah, that's it for me. That's it for us. Till next week. Take care, Sean. Take care, everyone.
Take
Goodbye.
care, guys. Peace out. Bye.